Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse TV. Well, it is a warm and rather sultry night here in the Twin Cities. The Rangers looking for a little redemption as they try to get back on the hot side of things, taking on the Minnesota Twins. And last night, it was looking good for 8 innings, but in the 9th inning, Eduardo driving home the winning run with that double, and the Twins scored 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and walk-off win over the Rangers in last night's ballgame. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Delighted you could join us on this Wednesday night of Ranger baseball. And last night was a bitter pill for the Rangers to swallow. Tonight, hopefully better. And one guy they'll rely on, as always, in the middle of that lineup, their big horse, Prince Fielder.
Well, no doubt about that, Buzz. Prince has been the most consistent Ranger offensively all season long. He's been among the top 2 or 3 in batting average all season long. He's led the major leagues in multi-hit games almost all season long. There's his numbers for the season, solid numbers across the board. Add to it the fact that against Mike Pelfrey, he's hit .357 and also launched 3 home runs. He just happens to be the Twins starter tonight, so a double dose for Prince Nutt. He's hot all season long, and he likes to face Pelfrey.
There you go. The Rangers certainly hope that's a winning combination tonight. They'll send Nick Martinez out to try and keep things going on the right side for Nick here tonight. So the Rangers in Game 2 against the Twins. We'll have more for you from Target Field in Minneapolis coming up right after this. Local Texas Ford dealer to kick off the summer right. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T Uverse TV. Uverse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. By Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Now, a rather humid evening here in the Twin Cities. The breeze drifting out toward left field tonight. Nice crowd filling into Target Field for the second game of this 3-game set before we get things underway. Let's sit down and check in with Emily Jones.
Well, that's Nick Martinez knowing very well the task at hand here tonight. He also knows that this season is beginning to dwindle down, meaning that the games take on a bigger and more acute significance as far as the playoff picture is concerned. And there are certain buzzwords you kind of stay away from as a reporter when asking questions. I was worried about asking Nick about a sense of urgency, but he seemed to be fine with that term.
Urgency's fine. I mean, you got to pitch with some urgency in this game. You can't be complacent, and definitely this time of year, you definitely want to pitch with a little bit of urgency, not panic. So, urgency, not panic.
And Nick Martinez, nearing his innings pitched mark from last season, says he's feeling very strong. He said he felt strong last year, but just ran out of season, hoping that won't be the case this year, that the Rangers will continue to play deep into October, and he will be a part of it. But he says physically he feels great, his arm feels great, and he looks to build on another solid performance here tonight in Minnesota. We will have the first pitch of Game 2 between the Twins and the Rangers when we return to Target Field here on Fox Sports Southwest.
Trying to get back on the winning side of things. Texas comes in having lost 2 in a row. They are 1-3 on this road trip. Rangers now 1 game below 500, and they come into play tonight 3rd in the AL West, trailing the Houston Astros by 4.5 games. So the Twins have taken the field, and now here's Tom to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers lineup.
Rangers will start with Delino DeShields in center field. Shin-Soo Choo will bat second. Prince Fielder hits third, has a major league high 45 multi-hit games. Adrian Beltre is fourth. Mitch Moreland is fifth. Elvis Andrus bats sixth. He hit his 5th home run last night. That's the most home runs he's had in a season since 2011. Rougned Odor is 7th. Bobby Wilson is 8th, hitting .462 with 5 runs batted in 5 games with the Rangers. And Ryan Strasburger is getting the start in left field. He'll bat 9th.
And that's the lineup that Jeff Bannister put forth. The only change from the original lineup, Josh Hamilton was slated to play in left field, but he came up with a bad left knee, so Ryan Strasburger is out there now tonight. And that lineup will be facing the 31-year-old right-hander Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey just 5-7, a .406 ERA. This is 22nd start of the year. Fastball slider pitch, almost a carbon copy of last night's earlier. Kyle Gibson, a very tall right-hander. Mike Pelfrey goes about 6'7". He's out of Wichita, Kansas. And like against Gibson last night, Ranger hitters will try and make him elevate the pitch in the strike zone. He gets a lot of ground balls, that sinking fastball and heavy slider, and you don't want to be swinging at his pitches unless you absolutely have to. So the Rangers did a pretty good job of attacking Gibson early last night. We'll see how they do tonight against Mike Belfry. Defense behind him, the Minnesota Twins come into play tonight as the 8th ranked fielding team in the American League, a .985 fielding percentage. They have a total of 61 errors. That is right in the middle of the pack. And Hunter, Hicks, and Rosario right, center, and left. And then Maurer leading the infield with Nunez to start at short tonight. Dozer and Plouffe. And then Kurt Suzuki is catching. So we're ready to get underway. Paul Molitor, in his first year at the helm of the Minnesota Twins, has his club at an even 500 as the first pitch is into Delino DeShields. Delino, a 2-hit game last night, hitting .265 now with 22 RBI. Fouled back very quickly, 0-2. 84 degrees at first pitch this evening. The wind out of the south-southwest, about 11 miles an hour, so it's drifting out toward left field. But again, a rather humid night in comparison to last night. 0-2 to Delino DeShields, trying to get aboard to start the Ranger first. Belfry back to him. Tapper off the plate. Belfry, quick release. He understands that Delino gets down that line pretty well. That is out number 1.
Belfry is significantly better at home than he is on the road by almost 4.5 runs. An entirely different pitcher at home. His ERA is right around 2 at home, about 6.5 on the road. He's had 3 road starts at Cleveland, at Texas, at Cincinnati. If you add it all up, in those 3 starts, he pitched 9 innings, gave up 30 hits and 23 runs. Been literally bombed on the road, but at home, he is not only significantly better, he's very good at home.
Chu tried to stop his swing, couldn't, and Shinsu down to the count, no balls and a strike. Chu at .237, 14 home runs, 50 RBI. That one comes in just above belt high. It is 0-2. Yeah, Belfry making his 4th career start against the Rangers. This is his first start, however, here in his home digs now. He is 0-2 with a rather inflated 7.02 ERA in previous outings against the Rangers. Pulled the string and left it outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, in that game back in June where the Rangers knocked him around, he pitched 3 2/3, gave up 11 hits and 8 runs. But you can't look at that start on the road and have any idea what's going to happen today, because he has been so much better in this ballpark.
That will even the count down to 2. There are the numbers you were talking about, Tom. 10 games at home and 11 on the road. 4.5 run difference almost on the ERA.
Yeah,
that's amazing. 2-2 pitch. We'll try it again.
His last start on the road was at Cleveland. He gave up 10 hits and 7 runs. Didn't get through the 4th inning. But 2 starts before that at home against Seattle, he pitched 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs. He goes from dominating at home to knocked around on the road.
Just inside off the plate. Chu taking a very close pitch. And the count is full. So Chu trying to get aboard with 1 out. Prince Fielder, the Ranger DH, will follow. Chu, as you can see, has been on base safely in all 16 of his starts since the All-Star break. Payoff pitch, and that's lined out of play. So Chu staying alive, making it very difficult on Belfry to dispose of him here in the first inning. Yeah, Belfry also on a streak where he has not won a ball game no matter where he has pitched since way back in June. June 7th was his last win, and this is his 11th start in the interim. Got him swinging. Up a little bit and away, and Chu couldn't make contact. Chu gone.
Belfry throwing hard early in the ball game. Throws a fastball, good fastball. Tough part of the strike zone, up and away, and with some solid movement on it as well.
So Prince steps in with the bases empty and 2 gone. Ball 1. Fielder, middle of a 3 consecutive multi-hit game streak. He has had, you'll remember, a couple of 5-game streaks this year where he's had multiple hits in that many straight. And looks like he's putting another one together here. 3 straight of late on this road trip. 1 ball and 1 strike. Prince now back atop the American League as far as the batting average race. He is at 327. To left field, that's going to carry pretty well. It sends Rosario back, but he has room. And that'll do it. Pelfrey works a 1-2-3 first. The Rangers gone in order. After half inning of play, Rangers nothing. Twins coming up. The Twins line up this evening.
For the Twins, Aaron Hicks leads off again. In his last 32 games, he's a .313 hitter. He's knocked in 18 runs. Brian Dozier bats second, tied for second in the major leagues with 78 runs scored. Joe Mauer is third. Miguel Sano is fourth. Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, is fifth. Torrey Hunter, more home runs this year than he's hit in his last 3 seasons. Eddie Rosario is seventh. Kurt Suzuki is eighth. And the shortstop batting ninth is Eduardo Nunez.
And Nick Martinez delivers his first pitch of the night to Aaron Hicks. It is low for ball 1. Hicks, a .280 hitter. Back in that leadoff spot as he takes outside. He and Brian Dozier have been flip-flopping back and forth just a bit. Our progressive scouting report for Nick Martinez. Made progress his last couple of starts, and he's trying to get a consistency in the approach that he has. There's a drive, well hit to right field. Chu is going back. He is looking up. That ball is gone. Aaron Hicks, with his 7th home run of the year, leads off the ball game for the Minnesota Twins with a round tripper. 1-0 Minnesota.
Got behind 2 balls and no strikes. Came in with a fastball, and Hicks exploded on that ball. That ball almost went into the second deck, hit the facing of the second deck. Not much doubt about that one. Hicks has been a hot hitter, got a pitch right down the middle of the plate. And that's a bad combination. 3 fastballs, the first 2 out of the strike zone, and the third one right down the middle of the plate.
So very quickly, 1-0 in favor of the Twins. There's that sound again, and even from our distance from home plate, I can hear that.
Yeah, I got to think that's as far as Hicks can hit a ball right there. That looked like the perfect pitch, the perfect swing, and the perfect trajectory.
If he can hit it further than that, he shouldn't be hitting leadoff.
Maybe if he hit a little higher, he might have gotten it over that little wall in front of the second deck. Look at what he has done the last couple of years. 2014, he had almost 200 at bats, only hit 1 home run at .215. He's just a much more confident player.
Yep.
Paying off the scouts for all the confidence they had when they made him a #1 draft choice.
Brian Dozier pops one up. That'll twist out a play down the right side, back into the seats. Still 1-2. Yeah, and boy, you hit it right on the head, Tom. From what people have told us here in Minnesota, is that's exactly it. He is a confident player. He believes in himself now. Went back to switch hitting after giving it up last year, and said he feels like he belongs at the big league level.
And it's tough to be confident your first 2 years when you're basically a 200 hitter for 450 at bats. You really have a little success, and all of a sudden you get a little bit more confident.
Well, here's a guy who doesn't need any more confidence. That's Brian Dozier. He has done a great job for the Twins. The first time All-Star this year. Hit a pinch hit home run in the Midsummer Classic. Got him swinging. Good breaking ball from Nick Martinez. And that is out number 1 as Nick gets his first punch out. Take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense. It's delivered to you by Break Check. Tonight the Rangers with Chu, DeShields, and Strasburger. Elvis Andrus, 75 double plays started this year by the Ranger shortstop. That is second in the American League. Ruben Odor is his keystone combination mate. Moreland and Beltre at the corners, and Bobby Wilson catching for Nick Martinez tonight. A one away Joe Mauer, who had a critical double in the 8th inning of the last night's ball game. Takes a strike here to even the count at 1-1. Mauer, a .269 average with 7 home runs, 48 driven in. Limited numbers of at-bats against Nick Martinez, 2 out of 6. That home run, by the way, Aaron Hicks teed off number 100 for the Twins this year. They come in at 11th in the American League as far as team home runs are concerned. 1-2. Good fastball got inside. Mauer able to fight it off. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Nick Martinez this year has made 11 starts prior to tonight on the road. He's gone 3-4 with a .420 ERA against, or I should say, away from Arlington. Another pitch fouled away. Ball club has started to support him a little bit better. Remember, he got off to that great start as far as run support was concerned. Averaged over 8 runs per game through his first 9 starts this year. And then the bottom fell out. The support dried up. And Nick had an average of a little bit over 2 2/3 runs per game for the next half dozen starts. That's when Nick really had his struggles. Now since he's come back from AAA from the extended arrest, he's gotten a little bit more run support. Another 1-2 pitch. Slowly hit out to Odor. And Rubdan throws out Mauer, 2 gone. So Nick gets a strikeout and a ground out after the leadoff home run, 2 away. Miguel Sano, big designated hitter for the Twins, will step up. Sano had a huge double in last night's game. Almost hit the ball out of the ballpark. Hit it off the seats that jut out above the right field wall last night. It was an RBI double that tied the ball game in the 8th inning. Twins went on to win it in the 9th. That boxes out there that jut out about 7 feet on the outfield, on the center field side of the boxes. Only a couple of feet on the right side. Breaking ball, and Sano not able to time it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Miguel Sano, a .275 average with 5 home runs, 19 driven in. 2-2. Nick to the wide, the 2-2 pitch. Ball ripped foul. This is our first opportunity to see Sano, much ballyhooed young slugger, and it looks as though if you throw the ball down, it doesn't matter where it is. He's going to have a pretty good hack at it. He lines out to left field for a base hit, maybe a hanging breaking ball.
Yeah, last night the pitch that he hit from Jake Diekman wasn't a terrible pitch. It was probably a 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball down on the outside part of the plate, and he went the other way with it and drove it solidly to right field.
See the difference for Sano between hitting here in Target Field and on the road. Very comfortable here in this ballpark. You hate to see a big guy like that comfortable when he's playing against you. No, 1 on, 2 out. Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, steps in. 0-1. Plouffe, a .246 average with 15 home runs and 61 driven in. For Plouffe, this is the most home runs he's had in a year, with the exception of the year that he set his career high with 24. It was back a couple of years ago. That one just off the outside corner. Plouffe in 2012 and 2 dozen round trippers. So no, a very short lead at first. The 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Plouffe comes in the middle of a pretty lengthy over. He is 0 for his last 13 times to the plate. Seen that batting average plummet down to its current level, about 20 points. Got him swinging. Nick going upstairs gets the strikeout. Gets 2 strikeouts in the inning, but Aaron Hicks leads the inning off with his 7th home run of the year. Twins get a run on 2 hits and leave 1 after 1. Twins by 1. Southwest Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by the good folks at T-Mobile. We'll show you tonight's selection a little bit later on in the show. Adrian Beltre starting things off for the Rangers here in the second. And Mike Pelfrey misses low and outside for ball 1. Beltre, .257, 9 home runs, 30 driven in. Sinker off the plate and down low also. 2 balls, no strikes. Adrian, a bit of a downturn now. He is 0 for his last 9 trips to the plate. He's had pretty good success against Pelfrey. 3 hopper out to Nunez, the shortstop. 1 gone.
Sometimes against a sinker ball pitcher, when you make contact, it's got the opposite sound of the one you don't like, Buzz.
Yeah.
The crack of the bat on a home run sounds entirely different than the crack you hear when a good sinker ball meets the bat. Generally, sounds more like the bat is cracking than the sound of the ball smacking off the bat on the good part of the bat.
Kind of a thud.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of a click.
Without watching, you can definitely tell the difference.
Now, one gone. Here's Mitch Moreland. Moreland batting at .290 as he faces Pelfrey. He takes a strike on the corner. Now the Twins, after one strike, going to go into an extreme overshift as Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman.
So if that was a ball, would he have stayed where he was?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. There's strike two. Now he should go back, right?
I think he was a little late getting over there.
I'm sure there are all kinds of statistics that tell you that on a particular count, Mitch pulls the ball more than others. Huh? 0-2 this time. Moreland, 16 home runs. That's now second on the team to Prince Fielder's 17. Mitch has driven in 57. Pelfrey back to the plate. Off the end of the bat, slowly hit to Dozier. Two gone.
Good changeup right there from Pelfrey. He's been pounding the strike zone with 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastballs. And that was a changeup with same kind of movement as a sinker at about 80 miles an hour.
Pelfrey, as we mentioned, a big guy, so I'm sure there's some deception too at the length of his arms and legs. And he doesn't bust radar guns, but he throws hard enough with that sinking action that he's going to be a little bit intimidating for hitters. Elvis, 257 as he steps to the plate and takes strike one. Trying to think of the big John Rosh was the guy that was a reliever here for a number of years, and
he was almost 6'10", wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was a huge guy to center field, but he was deceptive in that he didn't throw hard at all, and guys were swinging, and the ball was halfway to home plate. So a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Pelfrey and the Twins. Rangers gone in order after 1.5. Twins leading 1-0. Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer to kick off the summer right. Ford is the best in Texas. Now Nick Martinez to work here in the bottom of the second inning, dealing to Torrey Hunter. And Nick gets strike 100. A .245 average, 18 home runs, 60 driven in. And Nick getting the outside corner once again. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Torrey, the 40-year-old veteran, Metroplex resident in the offseason. Hunter again having another solid year. Figured coming back to Minnesota where it all began for him. The major league career began. Got to be a big boost for Torrey. And he has answered the bell. He goes down on strikes here to start the second.
Yeah, good combination of pitches by Nick. He showed him a fastball in and went to a good fastball down and away right on the outside corner. Get Hunter to swing and miss.
So Nick with his 3rd strikeout of the night. 1 gone here in the second. Eddie Rosario, the left fielder. 1 ball, no strikes. Rosario, 274. 6 home runs, 26 driven in. And ball 2 is down. Rosario, part of that next wave, if you will, of Minnesota outfielders. I feel that he and Aaron Hicks and Byron Buxton, who's back down at AAA for a while, really have a bright future in store for Twins fans up here. And you throw in Miguel Sano, who right now is a 3rd baseman by trade, but Twins looking at finding him different opportunities to play defensively. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rosario. Nick working more quickly here in the second inning. Popped up. Right center field. Chu. And Delino to Shields. DeShields making the call in the catch. That is out number 2. Well, folks, on Tuesday, August the 18th, Rangers are outfitting the first 7,500 kids 13 and under with a back-to-school backpack. Come on out to Globe Life Park, watch the Rangers take on the Seattle Mariners, and get your kids geared up for school. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. 2 up, 2 away here in the second. Now Kurt Suzuki will step in. Suzuki, the veteran catcher who scored the winning run in last night's ball game, had a 2-out walk against Spencer Patton in that 9th inning.
Yeah, walks really were the downfall last night.
Yeah,
Buzz.
Sure were.
Leadoff walk in the 8th set up that inning for sure. And the 2-out walk in the 9th turned out to be the winning run.
Yeah, Escobar walked. He was the number 9 hitter to lead off the 8th inning, and you mentioned it at that time, Tom, that you walk the 9th hitter in the late innings. That's going to come back to haunt you.
Yep, and it really did.
Twins tied it up with 2 in the 8th, and then the 2-out walk. Bases empty, and 2 outs. Suzuki was up there, worked the count full to Patton, and Spencer couldn't get the last one. And that set the stage for Escobar's double. That's out of play off the bat of Suzuki. And Escobar worked the count full, which it gave Suzuki an opportunity with 2 outs to be moving on the pitch. That allowed him to score fairly easily from first base. Two balls and 2 strikes. Bases empty, 2 outs in the second inning. Base hit to center field. Suzuki went down and got that one. 3rd Minnesota hit off of Nick Martinez tonight. 2-out single. Eduardo Nunez now coming up.
Yeah, Suzuki's only hitting about 230. He hit a pretty good pitch there, a sinker right at the bottom of the strike zone. He's hitting well over 300 in his last 14 home games, though. A number of the Twins are hitting really well recently at home. They like playing here. 35 and 22 at home. Much different team on the home at home than on the road, just like their pitcher tonight, Pelfrey.
Nunez trying to check his swing, and he couldn't. It's strike 1. Nunez, a 28-year-old. He is kind of the veteran of the infield core. Takes strike 2. Nunez, a part-time player. Just 1 for 9 on this just completed road trip for the Minnesota Twins. Low and outside, and the count moves to 1-2. Nunez, as you saw, a .259 average, a couple of home runs, 12 driven in. And that chopper foul will reset and try it again. The Twins winning last night for just the second time in their last 8 ball games. They got back to the 500 mark. They had given up 4 games in the standings over the previous road trip, which was a 7-game trip. Paul Molitor's club had fallen 3.5 games off the pace for the second wild card, which they had sole possession of not too long ago. Elvis charging on the run, throws out Nunez, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, 1 left for the Twins. We have finished 2 in Target Field. It's the Twins 1, the Rangers nothing.
Score of 1-0, and this entire trip I have not visited the concession stands until tonight. And this used to be Target Field, the only place where you could get walleye on a stick, fish on a stick. They've since replaced the walleye with a pork chop on a stick. A very, very unique concept. So I am going to boldly go where no one has gone before and eat a pork chop on a stick on live television. A little tough.
I'd say no female sideline reporter,
there we
maybe.
go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with that.
I think a few fans have gone there before, though. How is it?
Pretty good. A little tough. But overall, good. I never had the walleye, so I can't really compare. But a little dry, but overall pretty good. Comes nowhere close to the lobster roll in Boston.
That's still number 1 on your list?
Still pretty good,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, guys, back
to
you.
We appreciate your sacrifice for us. Yep.
I do what I can.
Very important.
I do what I can.
Pork chop on a stick sounds like something you might have seen on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, yeah. Rugen Odor.
What was it, the Bassomatic? The thing that made the purified bass drink?
There's the walleye. Corn dogs, walleye, and a pork chop on a stick. Rugen Odor, a line drive to left, coming on Rosario. He makes a sliding catch for the out.
That was a roll. Rugen is swinging the bat so well right now. He's liable to rip one to right field, and then he hits a shot to left field. One of those balls that looked like it was a line drive over short for a base hit, and it just kept on going. Rosario stuck with it and was able to make the catch on it.
Oh, that is out number 1. Now Bobby Wilson, the Ranger catcher, steps in. Wilson, as Chris Jimenez had last night, a 4-game hitting streak coming into play here tonight. Bobby, a lofty .462 average in a Ranger uniform with 5 RBI. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chris Jimenez shut out, by the way, last night. 0 for 3 the first time that he has come up hitless. Chopper wide of third. Plouffe, a nice play. 2 gone. And before Ryan Strasburger comes up, let's send it back to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. First Mariner no-hitter since Felix Hernandez in 2012. Is that when?
Not sure.
I think it was 2012. That perfect game that King Felix tuned up. The Rangers can take a little credit for that. They got Iwakuma started the other day. Pitched well the last few innings. So
yeah, he started out a little shaky, but he got strong at the end.
Strasburger ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Mentioned that Ryan, a late insertion into the Ranger lineup. Pops this one up right field. Dozier making the call on the catch. And that will do it. Again, a 1-2-3 inning. And Mike Belford's retired the first 9 Rangers he's faced after 2.5. 1-0 Minnesota. $15,000 fans 14 and over will get a Yvonne Gallardo powder blue t-shirt thanks to Dr. Pepper, Albertsons, and Tom Thumb. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS for your tickets. Aaron Hicks leading off the 3rd inning. And Hicks bombed his first career leadoff home run in the 1st against Nick Martinez. That is the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, Buzz, you mentioned that he was thinking about giving up switch hitting. When you see him take this swing and hit a ball like that left-handed, I think he made the right choice going back to swinging left-handed. You'd watch that one.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy, and obviously runs pretty well. If he's playing center field for the Twins, they've got some guys that can run, and Hicks is one of those. I would have to think he projects as more of a middle of the order guy if he can keep that switch hitting stroke together. Lines this one to right for a base hit. Chu over to cut it off, and does. Holds Hicks to a long single.
He's got a quick bat. There's no doubt about that. Turned down both of those fastballs.
And Tom, what you had mentioned about Hicks starting to believe in himself, that's exactly what we were told by folks that watch the Twins all the time. He was a completely different player after the first month of the season. He believed in himself. He came in ready to do the work, and it just a total change in him.
You know, no matter who the player is, well, I guess there's some exceptions, but you have to get over the part when you first get to the big leagues that I wonder if I'm good enough to play here.
Sure.
And everybody's bigger, stronger, and better than me.
Yep.
Once you get to the realization that you're just as good as the guys around you dressing next to you and on the other teams, then your natural ability can come through. And he had a stretch of 3 years in the minor leagues where he averaged about 85 walks a year, too. So that may come into play as he gets more comfortable at the big leagues and he plays a little bit more. Patient hitter that can take some walks and more of an on-base percentage guy.
0-1 the count to Brian Dozier. Yeah, you know, I think if you don't go through that when you come to the big leagues, you ought to be have your sanity tested.
Well, you're Carlos Correa or you're Mike Trout,
well,
or you're one of those guys.
Even those guys, I think they'd have to. You know, if you're not overwhelmed a little bit by the guys you're playing against, and Dozier drops that, and Hicks is going to motor to third. The throw comes into second. Dozier in with a slide and a single double combination. Have runners in second and third and nobody out.
A couple of hard hit balls. Hicks hit his hard. Dozier hit his hard. It's a beautiful throw by Strasburger in left field. He came up a little bit late, but as he went down the line to field this ball, he's got a fairly long throw from where he catches it. Looked like pretty much a routine double. He comes up and throws a strike to second base right on the bag in what looked like maybe a stand-up double for Dozier, who runs well. Turns into fairly close play.
Well, good effort by Ryan Strasburger. And now Nick in a bit of hot water here in the third inning. Got second and third, nobody out. Joe Mauer is up, and the Rangers will play the infield back up the middle anyway. Adrian Beltre starts about even with the bag. Now he backs up a step or so. Mauer 0 for 1, a ground ball to second, and he hits the ball up the middle. It's to Elvis, though. The run will score as Hicks trots down the line, crosses home plate. Mauer with the RBI on the ground out. One away, and the Twins now have a 2-0 lead. Mauer drives in his 49th run of the year. You know, that's just a pretty good job by a veteran hitter of doing whatever he needed to do to get the run home.
Hey, put the ball in play. I guess in an ideal situation, you pull the ball and hit it to the right side and maybe get the run home and move the guy to third base. But if you get the guy home, you can't be too choosy, I guess.
Now Miguel Sano, who had a base hit to left field his first time, takes ball one. Sano with that single has his average up to 282, as you can see. Got Dozier at second base, one out, a run across here in the third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sano this season with runners in scoring position has been pretty impressive for the young man, to a 393 in these situations. Nick going to make sure that Dozier doesn't get a walking lead at second base. Nick okays the sign, again sets at the belt. Driven to deep left field, way back and gone. Miguel Sano tees off for his 6th home run of the year. It is 4-0 Minnesota.
We were talking last night, Buzz, about the Twins and their young players and playing well in the present, poised to play even better in the future. Pretty good example of it in this inning. Dozier's in his late 20s, but he's still a guy in the prime of his career with plenty of years of control left. Hicks, a young player, #1 draft choice, Sano, one of the top prospects in baseball. They've got some good young players. They've got some good young players in the minor leagues, too.
Well, Sano just gave you an idea of the kind of power he has. That quick stroke of his, boy, it generates an awful lot of pop.
Well, when you look at last night, he hit that 96-mile-an-hour fastball on a line to right field, almost a home run. That one goes in the second deck to left field. Well, he's got power to all fields. Big, strong kid.
Plouffe fouls back the pitch. Trevor Plouffe, a strikeout in the first inning. Down on the count here, a ball and 2 strikes. Beltre can't get it. Elvis, a jump throw. Wrong throw, not in time. Well, a great effort by Elvis, though. Just couldn't quite get enough on the throw to get Plouffe.
Well, you could see Plouffe closing ground with first base. Looked for a minute like Elvis might have a shot. But the length of the throw and the fact that he couldn't get everything behind it allowed him just to beat it out at first base. First base umpire Tom Hallion right on top of that play. It's hard enough just to make an accurate throw.
And Jeff Bannister had asked Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire, to hold up for a second while Joey Probinski upstairs in the Ranger video room took a look at all the angles, and Joey apparently called down and told Steve Buechelt, nah, no sense wasting a challenge on that. So an infield single for Trevor Plouffe. That's the 4th hit of the inning. Still just 1 out with Plouffe at first, and Torrey Hunter steps in. And he skies one to center. This playable. Delino to Shields, camping underneath it. That is out number 2. So Torrey out on 1 pitch. Now Eddie Rosario. Rosario and a fly ball to center. His first time up there. Rosario 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. The young man who has hit extremely well at home. He's a .350 hitter here at Target Field. That's the highest home average for any rookie in the major leagues. Rosario, one of those guys that had a storybook beginning to his major league career. He hit the first pitch he saw as a big leaguer out of the ballpark. Home run off of Scott Kazmir. Be kind of nice to put that on your mantle. Baseball, it's his first pitch I saw in my big league career.
Yep.
Left the ballpark.
Many guys can say that.
One and one, the count to him here. Out of play to the left, and the count moves to 1-2. No, Nick Martinez forced to work a little extra hard here in the third. He's up to 63 pitches this evening. As Trevor Plouffe over there at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Little looper that's going to fall for a base hit. Plouffe will stop at second. Strasburger gets the ball back in, and Eddie Rosario just reaching out and flicking it into left field for the 2-out base hit. Now Mike Maddox is going to go out and slow things down a little bit for Nick. You don't expect that pitch to be hit at all, to be quite honest.
How much you can do on that?
That thing's a foot outside, and all Rosario did was just reach out with his bat. I'm surprised he made contact at all, but he did. Inning by inning, saw Nick had a long first inning. Gave up only 1 run, however. Here he's gone to 19, run his total up to 64 overall. So 2 on with 2 outs. Kurt Suzuki, who had a base hit to center field in the second inning. And he takes the breaking ball for strike 1.
The Twins just came off a road trip where they were swept 4 games in Toronto, lost 2 out of 3 in Cleveland, so they lost 6 out of 7. The last 2 games they got beat in Cleveland 17-4 and 8-1, outscored by 33 runs on the road trip. And it just goes to show how much better they are at home than they are on the road, and why you just can't determine what's going to happen in the future based on what just happened in baseball. You know, you look at that road trip and you go, oh, that's the end of the Twins. But
right.
Then they come home and they've got good young players and they play with more confidence here. Their pitchers hold the other team. Pelfrey's a much better pitcher here. They're 13 games over 500 playing at home, and you can see why they're a contender. And to be a contender right now, all you have to be is a 500 team.
Yeah,
in the American League.
That's right.
And they're a 500 team, and as long as they don't have to go on the road for the rest of the season, they got a pretty good shot. Maybe they can work out, play all their games at home.
2 balls and a strike down to Suzuki. And, you know, they came home too, and along with the numbers you just mentioned, Tom, they'd given up 8 or more runs in 5 straight games, and it wasn't just a couple of games that they got trounced in. And they stayed in the ball game last night, and I think that was a big part of it. The Rangers had opportunities, especially early in the game, to do a lot more damage than they were able to do. Suzuki grounds out to Odor, and that'll do it. But Twins score 3 runs on 5 hits and leave 2. And after 3, it's now the Twins 4, the Rangers nothing. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. Life out on one of the 10,000 lakes or so here in Minnesota. Beautiful shot of sun headed down, reflection off the lake surface. Delino to Shields up for the 2nd time tonight. Rangers have not had a base runner against Mike Pelfrey as he goes to work in the 4th inning. Delino tapped right back to the mound his first time up. And ball 2 sails high. Pelfrey didn't ask for a new ball. He just threw that one out of play. So Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire, apparently has to give him one to continue play. So he did. Delino 5 out of 19 on the trip so far. He takes strike one. Mentioned Delino a 2-hit night last night. He was 2 for 4. Belfry back to him. 2-2. Mike Belfry just 38 hits, or 38 pitches so far, as he faces his 10th hitter of the night. That's fouled away. Belfry, of course, a longtime Met pitcher before coming over to the Twins. Was drafted out of Wichita State University by the Mets. Made his major league debut back in 2006. 15-game winner in New York in 2010. Nunez near the bag at second. Just gets to Shields by a hair. That is out number 1. Shin-Soo Choo coming up. Our Ford leaderboard tonight. Kind of a statistical oddity last night. First time with 30 teams in Major League Baseball that all the home teams won. 15-0 for the home teams yesterday. Happened 7 other times in baseball with fewer than 30 teams. 1884 and 1890. 1894 were all 11-0 starts. 1989 it was 11-0, and then 37 and 1963. So there you go.
Pretty rare.
Choo, a strikeout, his first time to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Choo at 236. Belfry back to him. Just inside, 2-1. Mentioned Shin-Soo, what he has done since the All-Star break, that 317 average. More importantly, he's driven in 12 runs. 12 runs in the 17 games in which he's had an at-bat. 2-2.
95 on that fastball from Belfry. Well, he's feeling pretty good. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They maneuver the infield around him.
Yeah.
They're going by the count, not the hitter.
That's right.
They're going by the hitter, the pitcher, and the count. Either that or a little lazy getting over there. Someone just noticed it.
Driven to right center field. That is up the alley. It's going to the wall. Choo cruising into second as Hunter gets the ball back in. There's the first base runner of the night. A 1-out single here in the 4th inning. Or 1-out double, I should say, in the 4th inning for Shin-Soo Choo. His 22nd double of the year.
And look, he got a high changeup. Right down the middle of the plate, out over the plate. Perfect pitch for Choo to drill into the gap. Rangers haven't hit his fastball very hard. The one guy that did, though, was Odor leading off the 3rd inning. He was out on a line shot to left field.
There are Choo's numbers since the All-Star break. 2nd on the club with that average. He's tied for 3rd with the 12 RBI. These are all team ranks now. 8 walks are 4th best. Here's Prince Fielder with a chance to get the Rangers on the scoreboard. Fouls back that first Belfry offering for strike 1. Fielder, another multi-hit game last night, his 45th of the year. He is back in the lead in Major League Baseball with those 45 multi-hit games. Ian Kinsler trailing him by 1 now for the top spot. Prince a .429 average in his 3-game hitting streak. Rosario coming in and toward the line. 2 gone. And Belfry getting inside on Prince Fielder pretty well. Next will be Adrian Beltre.
No, if you're the Twins, I would think they probably would never do this, that you try to work the rotation at least to maximize the amount of times that Belfry can pitch at home. As bad as he's been on the road, there's nothing you can do about a long homestand or a long road trip, but Might be a way where you get 1 or 2 extra starts at home rather than on the road. Be a candidate for the Cy Young Award if they never had to pitch him on the road.
Well, you have him pitch every third day at home, and there's never on the road.
Yeah, you stay home.
Wear him out. You stay home, not have to go on the road at all. Beltre had a ground ball to short his first time to the plate. Chew at second as Beltre checks him out. Adrian chops that off his front foot. No balls, 2 strikes. Remember when Wilbur Wood did that, went on a 3-day rotation for about
how many starts did he have that year?
Oh, he had
50 starts?
Yeah, had 48 or 50.
Pitched both games of doubleheader.
Yeah, did that. But Stan Bonson was hilarious. Stan Bonson came to the ballpark and his tongue was dragging out. He said, "I'm trying to keep up with Wilbur. I can't do it."
It was a little easier for Wilbur to spin that knuckleball up there.
And Beltre waving at the breaking ball is gone on strikes. Well, the Rangers get a double from Shin-Soo Choo, but strand him at second. We played 3.5. It's the Twins 4, the Rangers nothing. Be treated to a Medical Center Arlington Adrian Beltre bobblehead. Come on out and join us to watch the Rangers take on the Rays and get your collectible bobblehead. Visit TexasRangers.com or you can call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets. Eduardo Nunez leading things off against Nick Martinez here in the 4th inning. Nunez had a ground ball to short as he faced Nick back in the 2nd. Twins a run in the 1st on Aaron Hicks' leadoff home run, then 3 more in the 3rd inning. Going to right field, Nunez drives it pretty deep, but Choo in front of the warning track, able to make the grab for out number 1. Now back to the top of the order. Now the Twins 4 runs on 8 hits through the first 3 and a 3rd innings against Nick, and here's a guy that Nick has not been able to do anything positive with tonight. Aaron Hicks has homered and singled. He has scored 2 runs, driven in the 1. Has his batting mark now up to 286. 1 ball, no strikes. Took something off and had Hicks out in front. 1-1. Hicks now with the 7 home runs, 22 driven in. Mentioned not a lot of time in the leadoff spot. This is 4th game this year as a leadoff hitter. He is now 4 for 14. Change up is wide, and the count moves to 3-1. So Hicks trying to get aboard with one out. Brian Dozier, the second baseman, will follow him. Nick has not walked a hitter tonight. And late call for a strike. 3-2. Right at the top of the strike zone. Payoff pitch on the way. Hicks is 3 for 3.
I'll tell you what, he's 3 for 3, and he hasn't dribbled one through the infield or blooped one to the outfield. He had a long home run to right field as well as he can hit a ball. And after that, 2 line shot, solidly hit singles to left field. He had 3 great pitches to hit, and he's taken 3 great swings at all of them.
9 hits now for the Twins.
Pretty much entrenched now as a switch hitter, I'd have to say.
I would think so.
The way he's drilled those 3 pitches left-handed.
1 on, 1 out. Here's Brian Dozier, who is 1 for 2. Breaking ball cuts the inside corner in half. 0-1. Dozier at 247. Packs an awful lot of power into that middle infielder's frame. How about some of the second basemen playing now? Like Dozier's got 24 homers. Rougned Odor's got 8 home runs in less than half a season. And Altuve, smallish players, they play huge.
Yeah, there's been some second basemen that had power, but you're right. They're when you look at Odor, he's not a tall guy, but when you see how he's built, he is solidly built. And Dozier's a compact guy. Altuve, he really isn't a solid. Well, he's a solidly built guy, but he's not a stocky kid at all. He's probably the slightest of them. But yeah, all of them can put a charge in it.
Throw Pedroia in there with him, and
Pedroia for sure. Tough to predict home runs, but when you see how far Odor has hit some of his home runs, and the way he can drive the ball to the opposite field, and the age that he's at right now, however many home runs he hits this year, you have to think that's the floor of the amount of home runs he's going to hit in a year, not the ceiling. It's not like he's been lucky to hit 8 home runs this year.
No, I think you could say he's probably going to hit 20 home runs. Maybe not every year.
No, but look at just what you've seen this year. If you had to predict, I would say that. You don't want to jinx them, and you want to put unrealistic expectations on them, but that's kind of what we do when you look at players. You try to project them and predict what they're going to do.
Well, you could see him maybe hitting more home runs and still hit 270 or 275, and you could also see him maybe cut down on the home runs and maybe approach 290 with the batting average, or maybe both.
Or do both of them. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. And the thing that's made him so good since he's come back is he's begun to. He doesn't walk a lot still, but he's not swinging wildly with 2 strikes. He is more patient. And his strong suit, like good hitters, is he uses the whole field. He can drive the ball to left field, boy.
Right.
He doesn't just flare it out there. And the out he made today was a shot to left field.
2-2 pitch, got him. Well, the book on Dozier and many of the Twins hitters, they don't handle the breaking ball well, and I think you got a pretty good example of it there.
Well, Dozier appears to be, at least at this stage of his career, the kind of guy that can be pitched to, but don't make a mistake to him. And in the last couple of years, he's been a 244 and a 242 hitter, and this year he's about a 245 hitter. So at least in his first full 3 seasons in the big leagues, he's about a 244 hitter. But he went from 18 home runs to 23, and he's got 24 now. He's had a chance to hit 30 this year.
Yeah.
He also walked 89 times last year. He's going to score over 100 runs 2 years in a row. So if a guy can walk 70 to 90 times, hit 240, and hit 25 home runs, and play second base, you got an all-star player. That's what he was this year.
Exactly what the Twins have. Joe Mauer 0 for 2. And Nick Martinez working on Aaron Hicks over there at first base. Mauer grounded to second, grounded to short. The ground ball to short came with runners at second and third last inning. Drove in his 49th run of the year. Hicks stepping off a pretty good lead. And now we're right back up the middle, over the bag. Elvis can't come up with it. And everybody's going to be safe. Now for Elvis, let's see what the official score rules. Elvis had gone pretty good length of time without committing an error. As a matter of fact, that's his first error now in 13 games. He's going to be the boot.
He's played so well defensively. He's made so many really great plays. This really, for him, not that hard to play.
Yeah.
Ball took a hop, hit him off the heel of the glove. But when you look at the way he's played the last 2 weeks, and you can see he's upset with himself, that was just a ball that you assume is going to be a routine play, and it has been for him. Just got away from him.
And the ball gets away from Bobby Wilson, dribbles over toward the screen in front of the dugout, and Wilson able to retrieve it. But Hicks to third, Mauer to second on the wild pitch. No, Nick Martinez now, runners at second and third. Miguel Sano, who launched a long 2-run home run last inning. 2 for 2 tonight. And that 1-0 pitch is in to even the count. Sano now with 6 home runs, 21 RBI. This is 33rd major league game. In the dirt, and Bobby Wilson smothers it to keep it near home plate. We'll take you back to the last inning. Got that low fastball, and Sano unloaded on it. Second deck out over the Ranger bullpen. Sano in his career in the minor leagues played 445 games, had 105 home runs. It's outside, and the count moves to 3-1. 2 outs, runners in scoring position this year. He has, as they say, risen to the occasion at .375 average. Nick sets the 3-1 pitch.
He was going for it right there. It's a good thing that thing broke that extra 6 inches. If that thing hung in the middle of the plate, he might have been looking at the same thing he did last time up. That was a good pitch from Nick.
Yep. You threw it 3-1, or are you going to throw it 3-2? That's what's going through Sano's mind right here.
I think the only thing you can throw him now is that same pitch, or bust him in with a fastball. Hope you can jam him. I wouldn't throw him a fastball out over the plate based on what we've seen.
That is going to be number 2 tonight. And it goes into the third deck off the bat of Sano. A 3-run blast. It is 7-0 Minnesota.
I don't think we have to say anything more about some of the young players for the Twins and why they're excited about their future when you look at what Hicks and Sano have done tonight. And that was a fastball. I think he's trying to get it in. He got it on the inside part of the plate, but a strike. And I think the way Sano is swinging right now, you have to get it about 8 inches more, a little bit off the plate to jam him.
Goodness. Now Trevor Plouffe going after that first pitch, fouled it straight back.
That's some mileage on those 2 home runs. That thing had some hang time on it too as it goes into the upper deck.
Going outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Plouffe, an infield single, his last time to the plate, 1 out of 2. Miguel Sano, his first major league 2 home run game. He now has 7 home runs. He has driven in 5 tonight. That gives him 24 in 33 games. Also, 6 of his 7 home runs have come in this ballpark this year. 3-1 the count to Plouffe. 3-2.
Well, it also shows what can happen last night when you walk guys late in the ball game. It shows what can happen at any given time, how an error can set up a big inning.
Yeah, all these runs are unearned.
Look like, a routine grounder that Elvis will make the play on 99% of the time. End the inning. Didn't make the play. Next hitter, Sano, launches a 3-run homer. It's kind of the way it goes sometimes.
Martinez into the wind, another 3-2 pitch. Into center field, that's hooking back. And
that thing was smoke. That went out there like a slider.
Boy. So Plouffe with his second hit of the night. And Jeff Bannister, slow walk out to the mound. And watch this ball hook. Look at that thing. Jeez. And almost carried all the way to Delano to Shields in the air. Well, that's going to do it for Nick Martinez. He can't get out of the 4th inning, and defense betrayed him a little bit, and the fastball betrayed him quite a bit. 7-0 Twins leading. Pitching change underway. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Organization. This Thursday, the Frisco Rough Riders host the Tulsa Drillers, and you can see all the action beginning at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. So catch the Rangers tomorrow here in Minnesota in the afternoon, and then watch the Frisco Rough Riders at night. Anthony Bass in his first appearance since being recalled from AAA. Bass taking over here in the 4th inning. 1 on and 2 out. 3 runs across for the Twins. And Torrey Hunter, the first hitter that Anthony Bass faces, deals strike 1. Anthony recalled last Thursday from Round Rock. Last time he worked in any sort of a ball game back on August the 3rd against Memphis. Worked an inning. Hunter 0 for 2, a strikeout, a fly ball to center. Dribbles that one foul, still 0-2. Well, Nick Martinez, 3 2/3 innings of work here tonight. 11 hits. Gave up 3 home runs, 2 of them to Miguel Sano, and the leadoff home run to Aaron Hicks. No walks, 4 strikeouts. 7 runs thus far on his ledger. 4 of them earned. All 3 in this inning have come of the unearned variety. Jam shot roller to Adrian. And Beltre throws out Hunter. That will do it. So the Twins gone in the 4th with 3 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. After 4, it's now 7-0 Minnesota. Focus on Hisashi Iwakuma, the 5th no-hitter in Mariner history this afternoon. He blanked the Baltimore Orioles' first American League no-hitter since August of 2012. He's scheduled to start Tuesday against the Rangers at Globe Life Park, and there is a possibility, it's not set in stone by any means, but there is a possibility that if Cole Hamels comes through all of his side work intact, that he could start opposite Hisashi Iwakuma on Tuesday. But again, that's pretty far down the road as far as Cole is concerned. He has a lot of work to do, with some bullpens to throw, and has to get checked out and make sure everything is 100% before he runs back out there. It's Cole talking to Mike Napoli. Well, the Rangers in a pretty good hole, down 7-0 as they come to bat in the 5th inning. Mitch Moreland starting things off against Mike Belfry. Mitch had a good rip at that pitch and fouled it straight back. The 2-0 pitch that was to his liking. Just missed it.
Well, after that swing and that foul ball, over goes the infielder to the right side of the infield.
Maybe the book on Mitch is when he's, or on the left-handed hitters, they may bunt on the first strike.
Maybe. Keep him from doing that.
Dozier, right in the rim of the outfield grass, throws out Mitch, one gone.
I remember Mitch attempting a couple of bunts. Has he gotten one down? Did he get one down for a hit yet?
In spring training, I think he did. Can't recall. I don't think he's done it in the regular season.
You know, you're talking about Wilbur Wood. I looked a couple of things up on Wilbur Wood just because I played against him and I was interested in him. Over a 5-year period back in the 70s, he averaged 45 starts and 330 innings. He won 20 games 4 straight years. He went 24-20 one year. And then he had 376 innings in the year he went 24-20, I think it was. And he had a game. He had 2 games back-to-back in that year. One night a game was called because of the curfew, and he was scheduled to pitch the next day. And so he started the end of the first game, and it kept going and going, and he ended up pitching 5 innings in that game. Didn't give up an earned run and got the win. Then he pitched the second game and pitched 9 innings. So on the same day, he got 2 wins. He pitched 14 innings, didn't give up an earned run, gave up 6 hits and 3 walks in 14 innings. Through 376 innings and won 20 games with his knuckleball.
Slow chopper down the third base line, goes off into foul territory. Elvis Webb's come back. Yeah, and you know, Wilbur wasn't alone throwing them. I can remember Mickey Lowich throwing about 350 innings or so, and Mickey was You know, he was a little bit longer in the tooth too.
But back in the 70s, I'm sure Nolan was right there in the 300s.
340s, 330s, 340s. That was fairly common. 325 was just about the norm, I think, for the #1 starter.
Yeah.
300 to 325. Elvis, a fly ball to center, his first time up. Belfry with a 2-2 pitch. Nunez, the shortstop, throws out his counterpart. There, 2 gone.
White Sox had the ugliest field in baseball, too.
Yeah.
It was always damp, it was always wet, and for a while they had a soggy, wet outfield with high grass and a turf infield with dirt all the way around.
Right.
And that turf was as hard as a rock, too.
It was. It was. Yeah, and they had the cutouts. It wasn't the cutouts like
it was just
some turf
completely dirt infield.
Yeah, where the grass is on a normal grass field, that's where the turf was. And most of the turf fields at that time anyway were just the cutouts around the bases and around home plate and the mound.
Yeah. The
rest of it was turf. Not in Chicago. I never did understand why they wanted to do that up there that way.
I don't know.
Rougned Odor, as Tom told you, lined out sharply to left field his first time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, that old Comiskey Park did not weather very well. It kind of got run down.
At least they had a luxurious clubhouse.
Which one was more luxurious, there or Tiger Stadium?
About the same. If we weren't playing, we used to go back into the clubhouse so we could hear Harry Carey just rip on the White Sox players. He used to get on Bill Melton all the time.
Odor lines it to short, and Nunez dropped it, and he has to go ahead and complete the out at first base. So that'll do it for the Rangers. They are gone in order. We played half the ball game tonight at Target Field. It's the Twins 7 and the Rangers nothing. Celebration, you can get 2 Lexus Club Terrace or upper box tickets for any game in August, excluding the 15th, for only $35. Just log on to TexasRangers.com. Use the coupon code Hamels to get your tickets today. Anthony Bass back to work, his first full inning work. Came on to get the final out of the 4th inning. Dealing to the bottom third of the Twins order here in the 5th. Eddie Rosario, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Nunez. Chopper by the mound. Odor charging. Can't come up with a bare hand. And Eddie Rosario is aboard with an infield single.
Well, you've got a runner with some speed on that kind of a ball. You don't have the luxury of catching it in your glove. It's the only play that you have. And it's rolling fairly hard, so it's not a simple ball to catch with your bare hand, knowing that you're going to have to throw it the second it touches your hand.
I think the effort that Anthony Bass made tells you that everybody knew the speed of Rosario coming out of the box. A headlong dive by Anthony, and he couldn't come out. He was the only one that had a legitimate chance, I think, to get, well, Rugnet could have got him had everything worked out exactly perfectly, but that's asking a little too much. Well, 12 hits now for the Twins tonight. 1 on, nobody out. Kurt Suzuki gets one out of play. Suzuki is 1 for 2, had a second inning single to center field. Suzuki hitting an even .230 as he faces Bass. Anthony, as we mentioned, his first appearance for the Rangers since coming back to the big leagues. That's the latest recall. Anthony in 26 appearances prior to tonight worked 51 2/3 innings. Lately, the last several times out, he's been used more in the middle, even the latter stages of the ball game. Jeff Bannister has gone away from using him exclusively as the long man. The Rangers had a couple of opportunities to get him in ball games, the 5th, 6th inning. He has done that and came in throwing strikes. That was what the attraction was. On the outside corner, 1-2. Now Bassett checking the runner over his shoulder. Got him swinging. Suzuki down on strikes. That is out number 1. Eduardo Nunez coming up. We'll send it now back to John Ridigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. One out, Eduardo Nunez. A ground ball and a fly ball tonight. 0 for 2, takes strike 1. Well, the Astros falling on hard times, but the Angels have kind of kept pace with them the last few days. Angels have fallen back into a little bit of a losing pattern. Not able to close the gap any further.
Good game for the Astros today. They had a shutout in San Francisco. Scott Feldman. I don't know if he got a shutout. They didn't score any runs off him until he was in the game.
One ball, one strike. Little looper to right field is going to fall for a base hit. Rosario around second. Chu's throw to third is cut off. And the Twins with runners at the corners and 1 out for the top of the order.
Jammed him a little bit. Fastball up and in. Nunez kind of fought that ball off and dumped it in front of Chu. I'll bet you Chu was a pitcher when he was younger, before he signed professionally.
Got a good arm.
Got a beautiful delivery.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he had some velocity on that ball at third base. Nice smooth way he throws.
Runners at the corners, 1 out. Aaron Hicks, a perfect evening so far. 3 for 3. A home run, 2 singles, 3 runs scored, 1 run driven in tonight. Big night for the young center fielder, now hitting at .290. And Bass misses low for ball 1. Talking about Aaron Hicks last night, mentioning the difference between left-handed and right-handed statistics for him. Right-handed coming into play tonight, a .362 average. Left-handed, .239. And he had 5 of his 6 home runs as a right-hander. Well, make that 5 of 7 now, since his home run came left-handed in the first inning. And pumped that batting average up another 7 or 8 points from the left side. 2 balls and a strike. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, I'm beginning to think you guys know a thing or two about baseball, because Shin-Soo Choo pitched for the Korean junior national team. So your
Wow.
observations.
We don't know as much as you do, that's for sure.
Spot on. The Mariners signed him as a position player, even though he thought he could be a pitcher.
Wow.
I'm going to have to ask him if he ever had second thoughts about that.
I think if you look at his contract, his answer is pretty obvious.
Probably not, but he might. You know, somewhere back in the deep recesses of his mind, he might be.
Well, you know, the other side of it is, at this stage of his career, if he could still throw like that, I bet you he could have been a pitcher.
Yeah.
He looks like he would have had a great curveball. I'd have to ask him how hard he threw. Probably say about 98, 99. And how are we to know?
Hicks a shot off of the glove of Moreland into right field. In to score is Rosario. Stopping at second is Nunez, and the Twins add on a run. It is now 8-0 Minnesota, as Aaron Hicks continues his onslaught here tonight. He is 4 for 4, and he has driven in 2.
You know, you see a lot of games where a guy get 4 hits. Not that many games where someone gets 5 hits, but generally in a game where a guy's got 4 or 5 hits, maybe one of them is a ground ball that finds a hole, or a line drive that is blooped to the outfield. But tonight, through 5 innings, Hicks has 4 hits, and every one of them has been a rope.
Yep.
Every one of them has been his best swing, and every one of them has been hit hard. Pretty impressive through 5 innings.
Now Mike Maddox out briefly to talk to Anthony Bass and Bobby Wilson. 3 hits in the inning, a run across, 8-0 Minnesota. Ryan Dozier now steps to the plate. Dozier 1 for 3 tonight with a double and a run scored.
It's a perfect example of why you can never make a decision on a young player based on what you see the first time he gets to the big leagues. When he's in his early 20s, that's for sure. Got his average coming into the game, he was hitting 280. Last month he was hitting well over 300, and with these 4 hits, he's got to be hitting over 290 now.
Yeah, right.
Swinging the bat, kind of like Rubnad swinging the bat. Still older than Rubnad.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, and Hicks came up. He was really the anointed center fielder in 2013, and didn't pan out. Hit at 192 in half the games that year for the Twins. Last year, 69 games, hit 215. So there was progress, but I think the Twins had loftier goals than what Hicks was ready to accomplish.
No doubt, and you've got it out there, Buzz. Had he ever played above Double-A ball? I don't think he had.
No, when he came it the first time, no.
So they were asking a lot of him. He was young, he was talented, he was a good center fielder, and I think he had a big spring training maybe, but really didn't have the minor league apprenticeship.
And Dozier ripped one into the gap in left field. Around third is Nunez. He will score. Stopping at third is Aaron Hicks. A double for Dozier. It's a 9-0 Minnesota lead. Dozier doesn't have a bad swing at any fastballs that he sees.
We saw it last night. He can turn around anybody's fastball. He pulled a 97-mile-an-hour fastball foul, just foul down the left field line, and that ball that Delino took the extra base hit away from him on was, I think, a 98 or 99-mile-an-hour fastball out over the plate. So with him, you want to make it curve and throw it slow.
The slower the better, right?
Yep.
Now here's Joe Mauer. Ball 1 is a bit low. Mauer is 0 for 3, although he did reach on an error his last time up. That was a big error. That was committing the miscue on the ground ball right behind second. That enabled the inning to continue in the 4th. Brought up Miguel Sano, who hit the ball out of the ballpark. Hit the ball out of the county, as a matter of fact.
Done a little more research here, Buzz, since we're talking about innings pitched back in the 70s. I looked at 1974. Nolan Ryan led the league in innings pitched, 332. Gaylord, Fergie, Wilbur Wood, Catfish Hunter, Louis Tiant, top 5 or 6. And coming in at number 10 that year was a young Steve Busby, 292 innings in the third. Guess who you were tied with for 10th in the league in innings pitched?
I don't know.
Andy Messersmith.
Andy Messersmith
did the same thing. Well, you're 10th in the league that year with 292 innings pitched, and that only came in 10th.
No wonder I was tired.
So how many starts would you have had that year? 40?
I think I had 36.
36?
Might have been 37. I think it was 36.
So 36 starts, 290 innings. That comes out to somewhere between 7 and almost 8 innings per start. Yeah. So back then, if you pitched 6 innings, which you probably rarely did, very seldom did someone come in and say, nice going. Way to pitch deep into a ball game.
Yeah, quality starts were a little bit different. That ball's deflected toward the hole. Everybody's going to be safe. In to score is Hicks. Joe Mauer with the deflected RBI base hit. It is 10-0 Twins. Anthony Bass went for it, just went right off his glove. The only place that ball could be deflected where nobody had a play on it.
Yeah, it really wasn't that hard a hit ball. The problem was it was too far away from Anthony for him to get the pocket of his glove on it. So he sees it, he reaches for it. It wasn't a hard ball to catch. If he could have gotten there, he just couldn't get there. And he hit right off the tip of his glove.
So the Twins have hung double digits on the scoreboard, 10-0. Miguel Sano, who has had a big part of those 10, as a matter of fact, he's driven in half of them at the plate now. 7th game this season for the Twins with 10 or more runs. Sano 3 for 3, 2 home runs and a single. A 2-run home run in the third, a 3-run home run in the fourth.
Well, that last pitch is one you'd love to see Anthony be able to harness. It was 94 miles an hour. It was outside and had some cutting action in it as well. As he can refine that pitch and hit the outside corner with it, he's going to get a lot of outs.
Our AT&T Uverse Rewind will take you back to the home runs of Miguel Sano. That was in the second deck above the Ranger bullpen. And then the next time up, got a high fastball from Nick Martinez and hit it in the third deck. That measured at 421 feet. And I think the 421 feet was just getting started. Sano, a 295 average. He has raised his batting mark some 20 points by going 3 for 3. As Dozier at third base, Joe Mauer at first. Still just 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Anthony Bass tied him up with a pretty good fastball.
Come on now.
So full count. Right center field. Chu moving back into the alley, makes the catch. Tagging at third. Ryan Dozier will trot down the line, cross home plate. Miguel Sano with his 6th RBI of the night, a sacrifice fly. It is 11-0 Minnesota. Well, even the pitches you kind of jam him with a little bit go a long way.
He's a big guy.
Strong man. So 2 away with Mauer still at first. Here's Trevor Plouffe, who has singled each of his last 2 times to the plate. He is 2 for 3 tonight. 0-1. Plouffe now at 249 with the average. A ball and a strike. Now, in case you hadn't heard, tomorrow afternoon, Alex Chichi Gonzalez will be on the hill for the Rangers, called up to make the start tomorrow. Rangers will make a corresponding roster move prior to the ball game. And the pitch popped up into right field. Chu coming on. Makes a catch. That will do it. But 4 more on the board for the Twins. They strand one after 5. It's now 11-0 Minnesota. $100 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Michael Gaylor from Carrollton, Texas, will win $800. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Michael is going to win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, the Rangers could use a couple of slams here to get back in this ballgame. They trail 11-0. As Mike Belfry set to go to work in the top of the 6th inning. He will face Bobby Wilson, Ryan Strasburger, and Delino DeShields. Rangers with 1 base runner tonight. That was a 1-out double by Shin-Soo Choo in the 4th inning. Belfry to work and hits the outside corner. Bobby Wilson, a ground ball to 3rd. That was back in the 3rd inning. Wilson came over from the Tampa Bay Rays in a waiver claim. He was up and down with the Rays. AAA Durham, where he spent most of the year. Tampa Bay, he had that 145 average. Pops this one up on the infield. Dozier, second baseman there, out number 1. Well, our crack research staff down on the truck has come up with a picture of Old Comiskey Park. There it is.
And you can see right behind first base in foul territory where the turf meets the AstroTurf. That was the infield. The thing I used to love about that field was behind home plate, the umpire could press a little lever in the ground behind home plate, and a box mounted on a metal post would come up out of the ground, and he could open it up and get new baseballs out of it. That's where they kept the baseballs. But the best one was he could also press a button, and up out of the middle of home plate popped something that looked like a sprinkler head, and it sprayed air on home plate to blow the dust off of home plate so that the umpire didn't have to bend over and clean home plate. And the reason I remember that is because it was so much fun when a guy was taking batting practice. Right as the pitch was about halfway to him, you press that button and you'd hear psh, as the air blew on top of home plate. Oh man, we used to have a blast with that.
There was a story that was circulating about that box behind home plate where the balls would be kept. Somebody putting a hot dog in there, loading it up with a hot dog, and I have forgotten who the hitter. I think it was Gates Brown of the Tigers. When he came to home plate, that thing popped up and had a hot dog for him. I don't know how true that was or not.
There's a few big umpires back then that I could make the same thing a statement about, but I won't do that.
Ryan Strasburger takes a pitch outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ryan has popped out to second base in his only appearance at the plate tonight.
Yeah, the new parks are beautiful, but there's something about the charm of the old ballparks.
Oh, and Bill Beck added so many things. The one thing you're talking about, the air induction thing for cleaning off home plate, that was one of Beck's ideas that he incorporated.
Who could have thought of that?
I don't know.
And then to actually build it.
Yeah, Bill Beck was the one that came up with the exploding scoreboard.
Yeah.
Shot all the fireworks on.
Yeah.
Had a shower in center field that Harry Carey used to go out on Sunday afternoons and sit by and take a shower.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to go into disco demolition night. We've already done that this year. That was fairly innovative and forgettable.
Yeah. Now 2 outs very quickly here in the Rangers' 6th inning. Delino to Shields is grounded out twice tonight.
Eric Josephson, who was a big White Sox fan, said it was Bill Veck's idea to have Harry Carey sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in the 7th inning.
Really?
That started a huge tradition with Harry.
Sure did. Delino hooking it down the left field line, a fair ball and into the corner. The Shields into second, a stand-up double, and boy, Delino really ripped that one. Second hit of the night, second double for the Rangers. The Shields and Shin-Soo Choo with 2 baggers.
Yeah, in the history of baseball, there haven't been too many more colorful announcing teams than Harry Carey and Jimmy Pearsall.
Yeah, you're right.
Harry could get Jimmy Pearsall to say just about anything. They were so good, like I said, that between innings or during some innings, we go back just to listen to them do play-by-play in color. Come back going, can you believe what they just said?
Yeah. Yeah, Pearsall would not pull any punches, neither would Harry.
No.
Harry was worse on the White Sox players than the press was.
He was.
And the press was bad. Did you ever happen to hear Dizzy Dean do a Saturday game of the week?
Sure, with Pee Wee Reese.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
That was tremendous.
1-0 pitch, your 0-1 pitch, and that's inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Choo.
Jimmy Pearsall was a Ranger coach during spring training when Billy Martin was the manager. He was a tremendous defensive center fielder for the Red Sox. A colorful guy, and he really knew how to teach outfield play.
The looper down the left side, that's going to bounce back into the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, he was just a little eccentric, I guess.
Yeah, he went when the Rangers first came to Texas in 1972. Brad Corbett hired him to work in public relations for the Rangers, and he went to Fort Worth to try to sell season tickets before that first year. And someone asked him a question that he didn't like, and by the time he got done, he'd insulted every high roller in Fort Worth, and Brad Corbett had to fire him.
Belfry, long look at second, the 1-2 pitch. That shot out of play. Choo with a double and the strikeout tonight. Average at 238 as he faces Belfry. 1 on, 2 out in the 6th inning. The Twins play in the infield in a little bit of a shift toward the right side, but not the overshift. What you having some good at bats here against Belfry tonight.
Belfry hasn't been too easy to hit tonight either. Got a good fastball, good sinking fastball with good command of it, good velocity, good movement. He's gone from both sides, one side of the plate to the other with it. Trying to pound and chew in this at bat on the inside part of the plate.
Belfry has not walked anyone. He has struck out a couple. Another 1-2 pitch on the way to Choo. Tried the changeup and Choo wouldn't bite. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That for Mike Belfry is 79th pitch of the night. And 49 strikes, 30 balls. He works here in the 6th inning with 1 on and 2 out. Now the 2-2. Full count.
You're talking about Jimmy Pearsall. I remember a game I was watching on TV when I was little. I was a huge Yankee fan and a Mickey Mantle fan. And the Yankees were playing. I think Jimmy was playing for the Indians. He might have been playing right field. And a fan came out and heckled him in right field and looked like a fight might break out. Mickey Mantle was on first base. And he sprinted out to right field to come to the aid of Jimmy Pearsall. I'll never forget that.
Outside, ball 4. There's the first walk of the night as Jude draws the 2-out pass. First and second with 2 outs for Prince Fielder.
Jimmy's also famous for running around the bases backwards on a home run, sitting down behind the monuments in center field at Yankee Stadium. Wouldn't come out.
So 2 on, 2 out. Prince Fielder twice has skied to left field. Pelfrey has worked him over pretty well. We talked about Prince and his success against Pelfrey coming into play tonight. Pelfrey's gotten the ball both in and away, seemingly at will. There's the pitch in for ball 1. Fielder was 10 for 28 coming into play against Pelfrey with 3 home runs and 12 RBI in those 28 at bats. Chance to do some damage here, get the Rangers off that 0 on the scoreboard. Two balls, no strikes. And Suzuki going to go out and mention to Mike Pelfrey, hey, it's 11-0. We need for you to throw a few strikes.
Toronto won and the Yankees lost, so Toronto is now officially in first place in the East.
That didn't take long, did it?
It didn't take long. They've won 10 straight.
Wow. The 2-0 pitch. And that's outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
Last game went 16 innings, I think. And if you look at Ellsbury, Gardner, A-Rod, and Teixeira, the first 4 hitters in the Yankee lineup, last night they went 1 for 25 in that game. Today they went 2 for 13. So in 2 days they're 3 for 38 against the Indians.
When middle of your order does that, you're probably not going to score a lot. Huh?
No, that's their four top hitters, and they went 3 for 38. So that pretty much adds up to losing 2 straight to Cleveland.
Goodness. 3-1 from Pelfrey. Broken bat into left field, a base hit. Around third, in to score. Delino to Shields, and Prince Fielder will sacrifice a bat for the RBI. And it's getting the Rangers on the board with their first run. It's 11-1 now. The Twins out in front.
Yeah, it wasn't what you'd call pretty, but it's what you call a run anyway.
Yep.
Pelfrey makes a pretty good pitch. You can see the movement on that fastball tailing away from Prince. Hit it right off the end of the bat, broke his bat, but he hit it by Plouffe, by Nunez in the left field for a base hit and an RBI.
Well, the Rangers have put 2 of their 3 hits and a walk together in this inning to come up with their first run of the night. Now Adrian Beltre with runners at first and second will try to add on. 1 ball, no strikes. Adrian is grounded to short and struck out.
Yankees have lost 5 straight. Toronto has won 10 straight. That's 7.5 games right there.
And Beltre singles to left field. Around third, here comes Jude. The throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. Oh, what a throw from Rosario.
Wow.
Manny Rosario gunning down Shin-Soo Choo. And that will do it for the Rangers. They do get a run on 3 hits. They strand 2. And this prevented the Rangers from adding on even more. After 5.5, it's 11-1 Minnesota. Game, and the first 10,000 fans 14 and older will receive one of 4 different Star Wars themed t-shirts. That's courtesy of Takis. Fans will also enjoy appearances on the concourse from Star Wars characters. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972 Rangers for your tickets. Well, Torrey Hunter starting off the Twins' 6th inning. Hunter 0 for 3 tonight. Torrey a strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out. Anthony Bass, it's a swinging strike 2. Bass starting his 2nd full inning of work. Worked 1 1/3, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits in the 5th inning. Hunter at 243. Bass with another 0-2 pitch. Cue shot down to Mitch right at the bag. That is out number 1. Marlins steps on first. Eddie Rosario coming up. And folks, it's time now to take a look at our T-Mobile strongest fan selection of the game. This one comes to us from Diana. Diana, thank you very much. A great picture. And if you folks would like to tweet your photo, use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan. And your photo just might be selected to be aired during one of our upcoming broadcasts. All this brought to you by the good folks at T-Mobile. Eddie Rosario goes after the first pitch, fouls it away. It is 0-1. Rosario 2 for 3 tonight, along with making a very strong throw to get Shin-Soo Choo to end the 6th inning.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw. Choo runs well. Looks like he had a great chance to score. Would have taken a perfect throw, and pretty much was a perfect throw.
Bass gets him. That's out number 2. We'll take you back to that throw.
Gets it, gets rid of it quickly, charged it well, had something on the throw, and it's accurate. There's the tag. Great camera shot. Yep. See the tag about 3 or 4 inches right before Choo's left leg got to the plate.
2 up, 2 away here in the 6th. Kurt Suzuki, who is 1 for 3, steps to the plate. Pops up the first pitch. Bobby Wilson and Mitch Moreland coming over with that ball back in the 2nd row of the Twins dugout. 1 strike. Twins tonight, 11 runs on 16 hits. Rangers 1 run on 4 hits. Rangers have committed the only error and led to 3 unearned runs against the starter, Nick Martinez. Anthony Bass with the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. You mentioned tomorrow, Gigi Gonzalez getting the start. He'll be recalled before the ball game. He will be opposing Urban Santana, veteran right-hander that missed the first, it was 80 ball games. The suspension for positive drug test. But he is back and comes in with a 2-2 record. Bass trying to finish off a 1-2-3 6th inning. Just missed high and away. A full count to Suzuki. If Suzuki extends this 6th inning, Eduardo Nunez will follow in the order. And a chopper foul. Nick Martinez started with the first 3 2/3. Gave up 7 runs, 4 of them earned on 11 hits. 4 strikeouts, no walks. Anthony Bass on since the 4th. Another 3-2 pitch. Foul tip, got a pretty good piece of Bobby Wilson.
Oh, good velocity for Anthony Bass. Looking at the scoreboard pitch speeds, he's thrown several pitches 95 miles an hour.
Anthony to the wind. Got him swinging. Good breaking ball, and there is a 1-2-3 inning. First time the Twins have been set down in order tonight. We have played 6 full innings here at Target Field. The Twins 11, the Rangers 1. Coming up. Aaron Hicks leading the ball game off for the Twins. His 7th home run of the year, and that was just the start of it. Miguel Sano, a 2-run blast in the 3rd inning over the Ranger bullpen out there in deepest left center. Next time up in the 4th, a 3-run monster jolt to the upper deck in left field. So 6 RBI tonight for Miguel Sano, and it is an 11-1 Twins lead as the Rangers come to bat here in the 7th. Mitch Moreland, Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, the first three Rangers to face Mike Pelfrey. Misses with a breaking ball. It's 1-0. Mitch has grounded out to second base twice tonight. He's 0 for 2 and now hitting at 288. And the Twins now going to that extreme overshift. Three players on the right side of the infield as Mitch takes inside. Good look from overhead with the shortstop Nunez, the only one remaining on the left side. He is in his normal position. Two balls and one strike. Rangers finally got to Pelfrey a little bit in that sixth inning. Had 3 hits and a walk in succession. All that coming with 2 outs. Able to get 1 run, but Eddie Rosario with a great throw to the plate, nailing Shin-Soo Choo trying to score for the final out. Cut short, which could have been a run or 2 more. Call, strike 3. Pitch caught looking. That pitch, according to our Fox tracker, a little bit outside. Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire, said, nope, that is a strike.
Probably for 2/3 of the way to the plate was on the outside corner, and then that movement brought it outside. The dead giveaway is when you watch Suzuki catch it and he snatches it back toward home plate. Pretty good idea that he didn't think it was a strike, otherwise he wouldn't have had to do that.
Well, here's Elvis, 0 for 2 tonight. Pelfrey pulling the string on a slider. It is 0-1. Elvis, a fly ball to center, a ground ball to short. 0 for 2, hitting at 256. 0-2. Remind you that the Astros won this afternoon. They shut out the Giants. So they have at least maintained their lead, which was 1 game over the Angels coming into play today. Angels right now behind the White Sox 2-1. That ball game in the 7th. Elvis down on strikes, 2 gone. Well, folks, you can watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and a lot more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. A 2 up, 2 away on strikeouts. And here's Odor. Pelfrey drops in that slow breaking ball. That Angels White Sox game now in the top of the 7th inning at U.S. Cellular. In case you missed the news earlier, of course, the Mariners got the no-hitter from Hisashi Iwakuma, defeating the Orioles 3-0 in Seattle this afternoon. Fastball just inside. And 3/4 of the infield for the Twins taking a step toward the dugout. And they had to stop.
Well, Rugman's 0 for 2, but he's hit 2 hard hit balls. Line drive to left, line drive to short. Right on the button, both of them.
Still 1-2. Yeah, ironic, we were talking about it just after the inning was over. That line drive that he hit to Nunez, that Nunez dropped. That's going to go down as a ground ball out, and that's a little deceiving.
Yeah, it's too hot to handle line drive. It fell out of his glove.
This one popped up. Second baseman Dozier makes the grab, and that will do it. Rangers gone in order. We'll take the 7th inning stretch here at Target Field with the Twins leading the Rangers 11-1. finishing up here tomorrow afternoon. It's a noon game against the Twins. It is back home, 3 with Tampa Bay and 3 with Seattle before hitting the road for a brief 4-game trip to Detroit. Rangers back home on the 25th, starting the final week of the month of August. Toronto's in for 3. Baltimore will be in for the weekend. Twins jumped out large early, leading 11-1 as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Anthony Bass back out there. He is dealing to Eduardo Nunez, the number 9 hitter. Takes outside for ball 1. Nunez a single and a run scored in 3 trips. A ball and a strike. Bass back to the plate. Popped down the right field line. On run over for Chu, but that ball's back in the second row. Happy fans down there, elated to get a foul ball. A ball and 2 strikes now. Anthony about ready to throw his 54th pitch of the night. Bobby Wilson flashing the signs out. The 1-2 pitch to Nunez. Base hit to left field. Got in on him, but Nunez able to find a hole on the left side. So Nunez with his second base hit of the night. He's 2 for 4.
We'll see if they can get Aaron Hicks to do something other than hit the ball hard. 4 for 4. Batting here in the 7th inning.
Hicks with 3 singles, a home run, 4 runs scored, 2 runs driven in. And he drives this one to left field. That ball hit pretty well. But Strasburger has a bead drawn on it, makes the catch in the alley. Well, they finally able to retire Aaron Hicks. 1 gone. Brian Dozier coming up. Let's send it back to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. Brian Dozier at the plate, takes in the dirt for ball 1. Dozier, a pair of doubles, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. The other 2 times, he went down swinging. Well, it's been all or nothing for Dozier tonight. Got Nunez at first. 2-0. Dozier's average, as you will note, up to 248 now. RBI total, 1 shy of 60. And that pitch a little bit low. 3-0. Sam Freeman loosening in the Ranger bullpen as Anthony Bass throws his 59th pitch of the night, and it's low for ball 4. Anthony probably at about the limit of his energy tonight. They're getting pretty close.
I think he probably is, and you'd love to see a double play right here so he can get out of the 7th inning. Maybe Sam pitch the 8th and save most of the bullpen for tomorrow's game.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround tomorrow. You've used the long man, that would be Anthony Bass. But you'd have 6 other guys ready to pitch tomorrow. And certainly work around that.
Jeff Bannister and Mike Maddox out to the mound and making sure that Anthony Bass knows who's covering second on a ball back to the mound. Joe Mauer, the hitter. With a left-hander, you usually have the shortstop covering second base. Mauer and a deflected RBI single. Deflected off of Anthony Bass' glove in the 5th inning. Mauer's got 2 RBIs tonight, so he's up to 50 for the year. Runners at first and second, 1 away. A strike at the knees. Mauer scored a run when he reached by an error back in the 4th inning. One ball and 1 strike. Twins with 17 hits tonight, the most hits the Rangers have given up this year. 19 to the Yankees back on July 28th. It was that 21-5 game.
Anthony's a pitcher a little bit like Keone Kela, who's showing more velocity at this stage of the season than he was earlier in the year. Even after all the pitches he's thrown, he still tossed that last fastball up there at 94 miles an hour. A number of them at 95 miles an hour. Good arm strength and potential to do some really good things with the Rangers.
Odor makes the tag and misses the tag, so he has to flip to Elvis at second. Now Dozier was going by him, and Odor tried to turn the double play that you were talking about, Tom, and couldn't quite get Dozier before he went ahead and threw it.
See how close he comes. Pretty close. Dozier sidestepped him though.
No, the good news is that's a second out. Bad news is here's Miguel Sano. Sano 3 for 3, a pair of home runs, a single, and a sacrifice fly. 6 RBI tonight.
And the damage has been done by the top of the order, the first 4 hitters in the lineup. Hicks has knocked in 2 and scored 4. Dozier's knocked in 1, scored a couple. Mauer's knocked in a couple. He just said what Sano has done. It's all 11 on the runs batted in.
Sano hitting at 295, and see the Twins a 279 team average with runners in scoring position. One ball and 2 strikes.
High heat and 95 miles an hour.
There is a hole there if you can get it there. The Ranger infield,
it's not down low though.
No. And you're probably better off getting a little further inside than that.
Try in.
Which I'm sure is what Anthony had in mind. Bass is set. Another 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Laid off it. That's exactly what he was trying to do. You could see when Bobby Wilson gave him the sign, Anthony delivered it right where he wanted to, almost within the strike zone, actually.
And that pitch low and outside fills the count. So for Anthony, next pitch will be his 70th of the night. This may very well be his last hitter either way. Jeff Bannister and Mike Maddox keeping a close eye on things. 3-2 with 2 outs. Payoff pitch on the way. Lost him. Sano would not go up for that last one, and that is going to do it for Anthony Bass. 70 pitches, and Bass gets through 3 full innings of work here tonight. He will depart with the bases full and 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and Sam Freeman will make his way in from the Ranger bullpen. He'll be the 3rd pitcher used tonight by Jeff Bannister. So Freeman coming on. We'll tell you all about him when we come back right after this timeout. Southwest is teaming up with Dave Campbell's Texas Football to bring you the most comprehensive coverage of highlights and scores from across Texas every Friday night throughout the season. Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. starting August 28th on Fox Sports Southwest Plus. Well, Sam Freeman, 27-year-old left-hander, on now to take over. He inherits the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and Trevor Plouffe, the hitter. Sam Freeman appearing in his 42nd ball game. We haven't seen Sam on the hill since Friday night in Seattle. Worked the 3rd of an inning, and he gets strike 1 on Plouffe. 22 hits against Sam in 27 2/3 innings. 26 strikeouts. The league hitting just .218 against him. Plouffe is 2 for 4 tonight. Good changeup. Nothing in 2. Pitch that we haven't seen Sam Freeman feature all that prominently in his repertoire.
Maybe he's talking to Sean Tollison out there in the bullpen.
Could have been.
As quickly as Sean came up with his changeup, that wouldn't be a bad guy to talk to about throwing a changeup.
Yeah, both Tollison and Keone Kela didn't have a changeup. They did a spring training or a winter session later. They did.
Yeah.
And pretty good ones. Got him swinging. Freeman comes in, makes short work of Trevor Plouffe, and the Twins are retired. They strand the bases full on a hit and a couple of walks. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's 11-1 Minnesota. August 30th, the first 7,500 kids 13 and under will receive a Shin-Soo Choo blue batting helmet, sponsored by Dairy Queen. Head on over to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets. Shin-Soo Choo and the Rangers now coming to bat in the 8th inning, and they will be facing A.J. Actor, right-hander, taking over for Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey goes the first 7 innings, 4 hits and a run, a walk and 4 strikeouts. Actor making his 3rd appearance in a Twins uniform this season. Actor, originally a 46th round pick back in the 2010 draft. Twins got Actor, and he has become the 2nd lowest Twins draft pick ever to play for the Twins. Denny Hawking, I remember, was a 52nd round pick back in 1989. He made it to the big leagues. Actor at 46th round is the next lowest.
Well, definitely held true for Mike Pelfrey tonight. The stark contrast between how he's done on the road and how he's done at home. He came into the game with a home ERA of 2.05, and he gives up 1 run in 7 innings, continuing his dominance at home.
Actor to the plate and hits the outside corner to Bobby Wilson. Eduardo Escobar, the hero of last night's ball game, now has come in to take over at second base. And Shane Robinson in the lineup in right field, taking over for Torrey Hunter. Long drive pulled foul by Bobby Wilson down the left side. The 2 balls and 2 strikes. A.J. Actor working from the stretch and misses inside. The count has gone full. Bobby Wilson, a ground out and a pop out tonight, 0 for 2. Actor with a payoff pitch. Hit hard to center field. Hicks on the run, makes the catch with a headlong dive. Aaron Hicks having some kind of night here tonight.
You didn't see that one on that play. You'll be able to watch it as many times as you want tonight on all the highlight shows. Tremendous play. Hard hit ball by Bobby. Looked like it was going to plug the gap. But Aaron Hicks had a different idea. Beautiful play.
That is a big man covering a lot of ground in a hurry. So 1 gone. Now Ryan Strasburger to the plate.
One of the top 5 prospects in baseball is Byron Buxton. Be interesting to see who they see as the better center fielder, Hicks or Buxton. They're both pretty good.
Well, from what has been said most recently, they're counting on Buxton being the guy in center field. But you know, that's one of those things like the Astros have with Maristic. Well, now they got Carlos Gonzalez now, or Carlos Gomez. But when you had Springer and Maristic, you know, take your pick.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go wrong with either one of them. Strasburger out. He's 0 for 3 now, and there are 2 gone for Delino to Shields. Delino coming to the plate, 1 for 3. He has scored the only Ranger run of the evening. He had a double in the 6th inning, came around to score on Prince Fielder's RBI base hit. A couple of ground outs to go along with the 2-bagger. Pops up the first pitch. That's going to reach the seats over the Twins dugout. But that projection, Tom, is just for right now. You know, when Byron Buxton gets here and they start playing side by side, they'll get a pretty good idea of who's the better center fielder.
Yeah, and like you say, whichever way they decide to go, they're going to have 2 outfielders that can cover a lot of ground. It's like Rosario can probably cover a lot of ground himself.
And the aforementioned Rosario there to make the catch. Rangers are gone in order. And after 7.5, it remains the Twins 11 and the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Here at Target Field. This is the second of a 3-game set here between the Twins and the Rangers. So let's try it again tomorrow. Day game affair as they close out this 3-gamer. Things get going at noon here on Fox Sports Southwest. We've seen a couple of the hotter hitters since the All-Star break in this one of which was particularly hot so far in this series for the Twins. Both of them will be on display once again tomorrow afternoon. We get things going at noon here on Fox Sports Southwest. A big shout out to folks at AT&T Uverse for getting us ready for Game 3, guys.
All right, and thank you. Shane Robinson leading off against Sam Freeman here in the bottom of the 8th. Robinson with his first at-bat of the evening took over defensively last half inning. And Adam Rosales, speaking of taking over defensively, now in at third for the Rangers. Fastball is outside. Sam Freeman now falling behind 3 balls and no strikes to the speedy Shane Robinson. 252 the season average. 13 RBI, no home runs. 3-1.
I remember, Buzz, earlier in the season when the Rangers played Minnesota, Shane Robinson did a couple of very positive things for the Twins.
Yeah. Nice play by Odor, and he spins around as he sits down and gets back up to throw out Robinson.
Come into the game late, hit a ball like that, get robbed, go 0-for-1. That's not a good feeling.
I think Robinson had 2 triples in the game.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
He did something. That ball hard as well. Nice play by Rubin. Backhanded it. Then the easy part, making the throw. Hard part was making the catch on that smash.
Now 1 gone, and here's Eddie Rosario, the left fielder, who takes strike 1. Rosario 2 out of 4 tonight, a pair of singles. He has scored once. Batting mark of .278, and he pulls one to right, but he pulls that foul. Freeman ready for the 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. It's a high heat at 96.
Sam's fired it up there too. I guess the rest of the guys in the bullpen, after Diekman and Dyson joined the team and Kella came back, they're figuring, hey, to get on with the program, I've got to throw mid-90s myself. So we've seen it from Sam before, but 95, 96 today. Anthony Bass was 94, 95.
Now 2 up, 2 away here in the 8th inning. Kurt Suzuki, 1 for 4. Takes inside for ball 1. Suzuki had a 2nd inning single. Other than that, he has grounded out, and twice he has struck out. Sam pulling the string a little bit, gets a strike. That evens things out.
That sure can be a very effective pitch for him coming into a ball game. If the hitter knows you've got that changeup, you don't have to use it a lot, but show it to the hitters, get a strike with it. Just makes your fastball look that much better. Tried it back to back, but
he did.
He was ready for that one.
Yeah, sometimes you're playing around with a new toy, you want to overuse it a little bit.
Well, if you're going to practice it and use it, I guess now's the time to do it. It's 11-1 game. I think when you use it back to back like that, it makes it all the more important on the second one to make sure you throw it down, away, maybe a little out of the strike zone.
Yep.
You can get away with it belt high on the first one when he doesn't look for it or is not expecting it or hasn't even seen it from you before.
Eduardo Nunez takes a knee-high strike, 0-1. Nunez 2 for 4. Three hopper out to Rougned Odor. That will do it. No, a 2-out single. No damage done to Sam Freeman and the Rangers. Rangers will come to bat at the top of the 9th inning, trailing 11-1. A.J. Octor in the 9th inning. Shin-Soo Choo, Prince Fielder, and Adam Rosales, the first 3 to do the swinging. Octor came on, had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Strike 1 to Choo. Looked into the on-deck circle. And instead of Prince Fielder down there, looks like Mike Napoli is going to have an at-bat as the DH. Pitch just inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Knapp. Octor with a 1-1. Tried the back door and somebody had locked it. 2-1. Octor went to or played his college ball at Michigan State University. He was there from 2008 to 2010. Into center field, a base hit for Chu, his second of the night. Shin-Soo is 2 for 3 with a walk, a double, and now a single.
Well, we talked about Shin-Soo in the pregame show and what he's done since the All-Star break. He was leading the Rangers in on-base percentage since that point in time, hitting about .320. Certainly added to his on-base percentage tonight. He's been on base 3 times out of 4 plate appearances. And has a couple more hits.
No one on nobody on Mike Napoli this season, including the time with the Red Sox, a .204 average as he takes strike 1. He is 0 for 4 since coming to the Rangers, and 0 for 2 in pinch hitting roles. Octor back to him. Napoli now down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Knapp, of course, the native Floridian. Second tour of duty with the Rangers. 1-2. Octor's next pitch. Watch out. Hammered foul. Knapp doing the necessary adjustments back in that batter's box. Chu not being held on at first base. And there's another shot pulled foul. That one just outside the line and cost Knapp a bat. Snapped right in half. Go into the kindling box for the winner. Napoli with the Red Sox had 13 home runs and 40 RBI in 101 games. Did a lot of good work, especially lately against left-handers. And that's exactly what the Rangers are trying to find. They're trying to find some right-handed help. Folks, remember how difficult the Rangers found it the first 2/3 of the year against left-handed pitchers. Well, now they feel with Napoli able to come off the bench and start against left-handers or pinch hit late in the ballgame. They have upgraded that very much. A little cue shot to right field. Long run in for Robinson. Now the throw to second, and Chu is out. Not much Chu can do about that. Robinson came on charging in like he had a shot at it, so Chu couldn't really commit to going to second base too early.
No, when the right fielder is that close to the infield, it's a very fine line. You almost have to be in the exact right place, because if you're a step too far, he's going to catch it and throw behind you. And if you're not far enough, then you can't get to second base. You're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Up until he stopped to catch it, the ball on a hop, it looked like he was going to come in and catch it in the air.
Right.
So that was tough base running maneuver right there.
Well, that goes down as your standard fielder's choice, 9-6 on the putout at second base. One gone. Here's Adam Rosales for his first at bat of the night. One ball and 1 strike. Rosales a .230 average with 3 home runs, 7 driven in. Adam now appearing in his 55th ball game of the year. Octor pulling the string. 1-2. Again, the Rangers and Twins wrap up this series. It's a noon start tomorrow. Rangers Live be on at 11:30 for you. And Rosales gone swinging. 2 gone. And Mitch Moreland coming to the plate. Tomorrow at noon, it'll be Alex Chichi Gonzalez getting the start for the Rangers. He'll be activated prior to the ball game. Irvin Santana getting the start for the Twins. Moreland 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Rangers, unless they stage a big 10-run rally here with 2 outs in the ninth, will fall to 5.5 games behind the Houston Astros in the American League West. Jeff Bannister's club will be riding a 3-game losing streak as they take the field tomorrow. And I guess the troubling thing, Tom, is that the ball club continues to play poorly against clubs that aren't playing well when they face them, and they play better against clubs that are playing well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find any rhyme or reason to the way that goes. The Rangers have been a team that most of the season has played very well on the road, yet this road trip is going poorly for the team.
Yeah.
The Twins have kind of stayed true to form. Their last road trip was terrible, but they haven't been a good road team. They've been very good at home, and they've looked very good in these 2 games, their first 2 games of the homestand against the Rangers. Pelfrey, the pitcher tonight, has pitched great at home, terrible on the road. He got bombed in his last start on the road, and pitched great tonight at home like he's done all season long.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Moreland. In the dirt, and the count has gone full. So Mitch trying to extend this inning and this game. If he's able to get aboard, Elvis Andrus would get one more shot here. Octor ready. Napoli on the move. Payoff pitch. Call strike 3. Mitch staring back at Chris Siegel in disbelief, and that will do it for the Twins. Rangers no runs a hit, 1 man left. So Mike Pelfrey wins for the first time in 11 starts as he gets the W here tonight. Worked 7 very good innings. Got a lot of run support as the Twins defeat the Rangers 11-1 tonight, and they have won now the first 2 in this series. Rangers will try and sneak away with 1 here tomorrow afternoon. We'll come back to Target Field, give you some final totals, and get you ready for Rangers Live right after this.